When caregivers and healers need help, that sounds like a very unusual topic. Why would they need help? They know how to help others. It's really simple. I want to talk about this topic because it's very complicated, much more complicated than anybody would ever imagine. So I want to just enlighten you about the topic, give you some ideas about why I don't notice when I've lost track of myself because I'm so involved in everyone else's life. What happens to me when I no longer know who I am, or I'm going home exhausted and I'm overwhelmed, and um, I may be using things that are really unhealthy for me to do. I can go home and eat a bunch of unhealthy food. I might be a snacker. I might be eating cake every time I get a break. Every time I'm not seeing a client, I might be going out and get a cigarette, or I'm going out to a bar when I leave here, or I'm going home and taking it out on my family, all the different things, all the frustration and stress I might be feeling. That's normal. That's what's happening in the world. I know that because I've worked in this field for decades, and I've seen it. I've seen it, what it did to me, and I've seen what it does to others. And until I started to learn how to protect myself and take care of myself, I was going down a really unhealthy path. And I'm so glad to be on the other side of that now, on the healing side of that. So I'm going to share all those different things with you. I'm going to share how to become aware of what's going on. How do I take my own temperature? I'm busy taking the temperature and the barometer for everybody else, but maybe it's time for me to sit down and take my own temperature. And how can I do that safely? How do I get the courage to do that, first of all? Because if I've been hiding from myself my whole life, this is a really scary path that someone's asking me to take, that I'm asking you to take. So I'm here to help you to find the ways to monitor the situation so you can learn what's really going on for you. I'm here to give you lots of clues about how to deal with it. And then a lot of techniques that'll help you to find yourself, not only find yourself, but then to start doing the healing for yourself. I hope you'll stick with me through this because it's a valuable experience for anybody in the healthcare position. And all those of you who are mothers just taking care of children, or parents taking care of the elderly at this point in their life, or whatever your situation is. And some of us were just born helpers and we can't stop ourselves. Stick around. I hope you'll stay with this for a while. So let's talk first about the effects of overwhelm and stress related to this work. So I go into work, and again, I'm listening to people all day long. I'm listening to my staff. I have to make reports to my staff about the people I'm working with. I have to make reports to the hospital I might be working with. I might be making notes about dealing with things that are related to the state because we're in a hospital and they want to know what we're doing and how we're doing it so they can be billed for this. So here's this pressure. I'm sitting in my office. I'm doing my job. I'm trying to meet with Joe and Harry and Sally and whatever about each one of their individual problems. And as soon as they leave, I'm starting to write a report for them because if I wait too long, I can't remember what they said, enough of what they said to write a good report. So I'm spending 15 minutes, 20 minutes talking to them because at this, I'm talking to them as if I was a drug and alcohol counselor, which is what I did for the past 20 some years. And so I'm writing the notes for the state. I'm writing notes to my other fellow staff because they have an involvement with this person also, and they need to know what we're doing. And then the parent of this person is calling me and giving me all their story, which could be that they're really angry with this person, or they're very sad because of what's been going on. And there's a lot of guilt and shame in the family because of this dynamic. Oh my God, dad is an alcoholic, mom is a drug dealer or mom is taking painkillers for so long, she's now addicted to them. She's not really even a drug addict type. There's all this, and this is just one field. This goes on in almost in any field you can talk about with healthcare, okay? But this is one I know the best, so I'm going over that. So that's my day, and occasionally I'm running a group. I'm trying to get some education to the people that are in the group, or I'm trying to make it a care group where people are learning how to support one another. And I've been doing this from the beginning of the morning until late in the afternoon. If I'm lucky, I get a chance to go out and get a snack or get a lunch, and I'm eating that as fast as I can because don't have time for lunch, so I don't really taste any of the food, and I've done, more damage to myself because now I'm just swallowing things whole. I'm not even chewing them. My digestive system is already feeling the impact of this. So these things, these stressful things that are happening in a caregiver's life every single day, 5 days a week, and sometimes people are working overtime because they can't get it done in a 40-hour work week. This is another field where people would come in early and leave late, even though they're getting paid for, a professional career. So it's a 40-hour-a-week paycheck, but they're working 50 hours to do it, or 45 hours to do it. So you're getting the point that, I hope you're getting the point that I leave work, I'm exhausted. I leave work and I might, go to a bar to get a drink or two. That we've seen that in every movie ever made. You want to get relaxed, go to a bar. Everything that the world is telling us is to treat our discomfort with food, with booze. We've learned from the counterculture to treat it with marijuana and drugs and narcotics and all the different things. Or I'm going to go home and beat the dog, which is a horrible thing, but I'm not saying that it's a suggestion at all, but I'm going to take it out on somebody. Somebody's going to get hurt. It's not that person's fault. It's not, there's no blame here. There's nobody, I hope no one's pointing a finger at them and say that I'm not a good person. They're not a good person. It's just overwhelm and stress that can't be dealt with anymore in a healthy way. Or I was never taught how to do it in a healthy way. That overwhelm, that feeling of stress, I don't even know I'm feeling it anymore because it's become my normal. See, that's the real problem. It's my normal. And you may have been raised in a family, and I was raised in a family where my normal in my family was stress. The normal in my family was fear. The normal in my family, so I think this is normal. Dad would always come home upset and work and angry and all that good stuff. I know it's part of what it is. Or Dad would come home and drink for the whole evening. So we'll get to that point now where how can we and how can I help you to start looking to take that time, even if it's 15 minutes to 30 minutes, to at least start to sit down and take some time and say, what are the symptoms that I'm feeling in my life? I don't have a self. I can't feel myself anymore. I don't know who I am. I'm kind of lost. I'm operating on habit. I'm just get up, go to work, come home, do whatever I do, get home, and it's a pattern, and I don't have a clue on how to break the pattern. I don't even know that I want to break that pattern. It's maybe my comfort zone. So what makes me think I know a lot about this and why I can be helpful at it? I woke up at the age of 47 thinking that I knew a lot. I had been financially very successful. I was a multimillionaire. Had the whole thing, had a 24-acre estate, beautiful house, beautiful grounds, 2 wonderful kids, great wife. And I'm walking around just pretending everything, pretending from the beginning of the day to the end of the day that everything is cool and I'm cool and all is well with the world. So take a moment to think about that. How much of your day are you pretending? I'm just asking to see if you can relate to me, not how you might be different than me. How much of your day is pretending? I'm pretending that everything is okay. Somebody just looks at me, I've got to look good. I've got to look good. People envied me. I'm here, I'm a millionaire, right? I've got the 2 cars, I've got, everything going for me. And they're looking at me like I should be together. But it's not. And I don't notice it most of the time because I'm so good at pretending that I can't tell what's real or not. I have no way to judge what's real. Is this just another pretend or is this real? And every once in a while, not often, but every once in a while, there would be a moment, and it wouldn't last very long, but there'd be that moment when there was nobody looking at me. I was off by myself, and I looked down inside of myself, and there was nothing there. There was nothing there, which is the most frightening thing in the world. Who am I? I had no idea. I didn't even know that was a question you're supposed to ask. So when I come to you and say, I had to start at age 47, I had my moment where I thought everything was incredibly well. I once said to my wife, I just remember saying to her, I think this is the best our relationship has ever been. And she used 3 words, just 3 words, and she said, not for me. And I collapsed. Inwardly, no, you couldn't see from the outside that I collapsed, but I collapsed. It was like, I don't know if you ever heard of a house of cards. You put one card on top of another card, you try and build a structure out of it. And at some point, one card gets moved and the whole house collapses like that. That's my life. That was my life at that moment. 47 years old, around there, whatever, doesn't matter. And everything collapses, and I realize everything's been pretend. Our relationship went from being husband and wife to being mother and father, and husband and wife died. That relationship ended, and it ended years ago. We kept pretending because we were such good mothers and fathers and caregivers to our children that it didn't matter that we had no life at all. The business didn't mean anything. The money meant nothing. It didn't make me happy. I realized at one point that I'd put up this ladder and climbed this ladder of success only to find out it was up against the wrong building. I got to the top and it meant absolutely nothing. Again, I'm just giving you some ideas of what happens when there's no inner search. There's no looking inside. So I'm not afraid to help you look inside of yourself. I'm not afraid because I've succeeded afterwards. I've learned all these different ways, and I had all these wonderful teachers in Gestalt therapy and hypnotherapy, in Tai Chi and Qigong, and support groups and 12-step programs, and to help build what I have now is a wonderful life, and it has nothing to do with how much money I have. It has everything to do with how much love I have, how much love I have for myself and others around me. And so I'm saying this to you because I've been in that hole. I spent decades in that hole. And later on, I'll tell you how I got in that hole in the first place because of childhood. But when you're ready to climb out of the hole, I just want to be the guy that says to you, listen, it's going to be okay. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. And here's the way to do it. And that's what I had to learn. So I sought, like I said, sought therapy, 12-step support groups, all kinds of other support groups, inner wisdom, Eastern philosophy, a whole bunch of other things. And together, I'm not afraid to help anybody get out of whatever hole they're in. I'm just not afraid anymore. Now, many therapists can't do that because they don't know. They've never gotten out of their own hole. There's a lot of therapists out there. There's a lot of caregivers that are in the same boat I used to be in with is, I'll just pretend everything's okay. How are you doing? I'm fine. Fine and dandy. Not a problem in the world. Maybe not so accurate. What are the expectations? What can you expect from the upcoming videos? And maybe you'll find a way someday to even get in touch with me, and we'll talk about how I might be able to help you to get out of that hole and find your life. So what happened for me was it wasn't okay just to work on one dimension of my being. I'm a 4-dimensional being, and I think you are too. Maybe more than 4, but there's 4 that I know of. I'm a physical dimension, I have a mental dimension, I have an emotional dimension, I have a spiritual dimension. Again, I don't know about the other ones. Other people have talked about them, but I don't know what they are. So you might be coming to me, and if you were like me, I had food addictions. I had multiple food addictions over different parts of my life. And some of them were all right. I was addicted to Cheez-Its. I don't know if you know what they are. They're like a little orange cracker with salt on them. And they taste like cheese and a cracker combined. And I got to a point where when I was addicted to marijuana, I would be smoking marijuana, and you get the munchies, and I would eat a half a box of these Cheez-Its every day at night, at the end of my day. And I gave up smoking, so I got addicted to lifesavers. Where I'm going with this is, to me, the physical domain has three different parts to it. There's a nurturing part, nourishment part. What are you eating? What am I eating? There's a physical exercise part. What am I doing to keep my body in shape and my cardio and lungs working? And the third part is, how am I sleeping? Am I getting a good night's rest? And so those are things you may just want to work with me on that. You may only want to work on one dimension at a time. You may only want to work on, hey, how can I get myself in? I'd love to help you with just that. There's hypnosis programs out there that I can design for you, or there's already out there that I can help you find that will help you to become a better eater. One of them, I'll give you the short version of the story, is wonderful. It was like, it's a 30-day hypnosis program. I'll put it in my link on my website so that you can find it. 30 days on a binaural, so there's two sounds coming through your head, two different voices speaking to you throughout the night, and it's 30 minutes, and you do this when you get in bed at night, and if you fall asleep, it's okay, and if you don't fall asleep, it's okay. And it's not about calories. It has nothing to do with calories. It's all about self-love. Wait, what? How is that going to help me? Everything else is talking about calories and exercises, how many burning, how am I not burning, what's happening with my metabolism. So I listened to this for 30 days, and I work in a place where they give us free lunch, and in the part of the lunch program, there's a tray of cookies there. And every day I love that tray of cookies. They're chocolate chip cookies, and they're firm, and I love them. They're my favorite chocolate chip cookie. And every day after lunch, I'm grabbing a chocolate chip cookie. It's the highlight of my meal. I listened to this audio hypnosis video audio for 30 days. And somewhere near the end of the 30 days, I'm walking into lunch and I look at the tray of cookies, and my first reaction would always be to grab a cookie. My first reaction was to grab a cookie. My second reaction was, they're not healthy. These are poison. I love myself too much to eat them. Now, wouldn't that be a wonderful way for you to solve your weight problems or issues? And it can be for gaining weight or losing weight, or just getting your metabolism working in a balanced way. All those things can be done with hypnosis. And it's no longer willpower, because I have no willpower. I don't. But I do have a power in my brain that says, don't eat that because I love myself too much to do that. So in any case, there's that physical dimension we're talking about. We're going to talk about, at another time, we'll talk about the emotional dimension, what we're going to do there if you decide you want to get healthier emotionally, what we're going to do on the mental domain, and what you might want to do on the spiritual domain to just get a better life. That's all I want to help you to do, is get a better life. I mean, I feel like the luckiest man in the whole world. I ended my suffering. I ended generations of suffering. Some of you might be aware of that. I ended generations of suffering because I no longer had to pass my suffering on to my family. So if I was listening to this video, I might get concerned about how difficult is this going to be, and how complicated is this going to be, and can I do it? And am I smart enough? Am I disciplined enough? Do I have enough willpower to do this? No, it's not about that. It's about taking baby steps. I'm going to help you find the baby steps that you can take, that you're willing to take. No big giant, we're not trying to make leaps into space. So what might we start with was breathing techniques. I'm going to be breathing until I can't breathe anymore, and then it's going to be over, and I won't worry about anything anymore. But until then, can I learn how to breathe into my diaphragm, the lower part of my diaphragm, where there's more air sacs, and I can get more oxygen up to my brain, which is going to help my brain. Can I help you to find compassion for yourself? Can I help you to find a way to forgive yourself? These are all things I had to do. Really didn't know I had to do them. Nobody ever told me. There was nowhere examples of it in my childhood or my family. We held on to a grudge, and we held on to it forever. Somebody did me wrong, and I'm never going to forgive them, and I'm never going to forgive myself. So I'm going to be angry with somebody, and I'm going to be taking the poison. You've all heard this probably. So we're going to work on compassion, we're going to work on forgiveness, we're going to work on anything and everything you want to work on as it happens, and we're not going to overwhelm anybody. So to make a long story shorter, let me just talk about how this process works. There's going to be a link to my website. There's going to be a link to my WhatsApp business page. And what I want to offer you, heartfelt, is we do a chat for 15 minutes to see whether I'm a good fit for you and you're a good fit for me. And that's really all it takes. I don't push. I go with where you're at. I've been through this before. I don't really do well when somebody pushes me. I resist. So I know how that is. There's not much that I haven't experienced in the way of getting help over the course of my lifetime. And I've been lucky because I was very wealthy. I was able to get some of the best therapists money could buy. And I would be willing to go anywhere to do it. I used to go 2.5 hours into New York City for a 3-hour meeting and then come home 2.5 hours because I wanted that particular teacher. I wanted that particular therapist. You won't have to do that with me. We'll just do it gently and easily, help you to become the person you want to be. I'm doing that every day. No days off. Become the person I want to be. Thank you.